Before we took a short break, we're holding court this evening with a Member of Parliament for Kitui Central. This is Honorable Dr. Makali Moli. Also, we have with us Dr. John Mutunga, who is a Member of Parliament of Tigania West, and also Shakil Shabir, Member of Parliament Kisumu West. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Eagerly waiting to be joined also by Anthony Kibagendi. But we want to continue pace with the conversation. Right now that I know all of you have been doggedly following what has been happening in Homa Bay County, and just the news that we've had this morning or this evening, just to say that the president is raising accusatory fingers towards parliamentarians. And I know we have two members here who are chair of committees in the National Assembly. We want to know, and also you are a member of a committee as well, Shakil Shabir. So this question that the president is raising regarding member of parliament being embroiled in corruption, I think I should ask you, first of all, do you hold with what the president is saying? These allegations are very clear, and is describing parliament and the judiciary as corruption centers. Let's begin with you, Dr. John Mutunga.
I thank you very much, Juba, for this opportunity. And I am the chairman of Agriculture and Livestock Committee of the National Assembly.
Yes.
And we've gone through so many issues. And in those issues, I do not remember an occasion where we demanded for money in order to write a report or in order to avoid putting some content into context. So when the president speaks, he must speak from some background, some information, and some intelligence. And I know there are very many cases that probably which can be presumed based on what is being investigated. And as a parliament, I think there is a provision for live coverage of all issues. So even if you wanted to do a report on some issues, you cannot avoid putting the issue as it is on the report. I remember on 2 occasions when we had live coverage and we were investigating what we may regard as sensitive issues. And one of them was the fertilizer subsidy. Okay. The fertilizer subsidy issue was covered to an extent that our report actually was already aired even before we finalized the report. And actions had already been taken because some arrests were made. And in our report, it was clear that as certain individuals within certain institutions had questions to answer. They were already picked because we pointed out at the NCPB then, which was the main distributor channel for the subsidy fertilizer. We also had some other business people selling this substance we mine that Kariandush as fertilizer, and we clearly put it before the media, even before. And this was arrived at because sometimes in the past it was realized that sometimes when you try to have the gist of the matter covered, the truth coming out, it used to disappear between the committee sitting and the airing of the news. So we made a decision as Parliament to have live coverage so that Kenyans can know the exact truth of the matter.
So you want to
the other issue was the issue of the coffee. We were investigating the coffee value chain and the individuals and institutions that are engaged in the transactions from mainly the milling of the coffee itself, the brokerage when it comes to selling the coffee, the selling itself, and the buying of the coffee. And when we were saying that clearly there is our concentration within the chain, you find that an individual is offering as a miller, and then through another name, they come in and as the proposed seller, and then we also find them looking for buying on the other end. And we said we need to clear that of our concentration. And in those 2 incidences I've mentioned, nobody has approached my committee from outside, nobody has banned us from writing a report, But I'm not saying that the president is not right. He may have had some instances which probably could have depicted that. But as far as I'm concerned, I know we've done a clean job.
So yeah, he's speaking from a point of information, and there could be confirmable facts regarding that. But I just want to hark back and latch on that issue of fertilizer. You want to tell me, with all sincerity, that none entities or no persons prevailed upon you as a committee to try and sort of fudge their accounts or doctor the report in favor or water down, in all sincerity?
In total honesty, we interviewed individuals in full glare of the media, and there was no meeting.
Forget about the full glare of the media. I'm just talking about...
I'm just answering your question.
Yes.
Now, there was no incident where we had a meeting or any discussion outside what was being discussed in the committee.
No phone calls?
No phone calls, nothing. And if you look at some of the, may call them revelations, they were being done by those people we called to present memoranda or to basically support the cases that we are building. And it was open. Mm-hmm. Yes. All
right, let me come to you, Dr. Makali Mulu. Budget and Appropriation Committee, you've been a member, and you're always also in the, that committee. I just want to ask the same question. No phone calls? No one has ever prevailed upon you as a committee to try and game the system, so to speak, in all sincerity? And do you hold with what the president is saying, that you know, your committee also is a corruption center?
And you know, you're also becoming a propagandist.
No, I'm just conveying what the president has said. Yeah, I'm just relaying what he's saying.
You know, Dibal, let's get the facts right. The truth of the matter is the head of state of Kenya is a consumer of national intelligence. That means whatever happens in this country, if you wanted to get the truth, he has all it takes to get it through the NIS. It's unfortunate he's giving very general statements. Because if you look at the committees and who chairs the committees, majority of the committees are chaired by each side of the coalition. They are chaired by Kenya Kwanza, members of parliament. Very few committees are chaired by the other side. What am I saying? I'm saying we all sit in those committees, and if the president wanted to help the country, he would have said, Committee 1, Committee 2, Committee 3 is involved in this kind of business. Mm-hmm. You know, now when he talks about all members of parliament, on a serious note, I think it's not been fair to the assembly. I've been in parliament for the last 13 years now, I've sat all through in the budget committee. And I can tell you, just as we lobby, even when a bill comes to parliament, the proponents of the bill would lobby, the way you will come lobbying for your bill for members to support. So there's a difference between lobbying and giving out money. So people would lobby, and that is normal. Even, for example, when we were discussing the finance bill, I remember early in the years, when we used to increase the prices of cigarettes, companies like BA2 would come, make a presentation to lobby so that the issues can be taken in. Anytime we were discussing a finance bill, even last year, you saw the kind of presentation which came. Presentations are made by members of the public every day to lobby for their cases to be considered by Parliament. That's why Parliament exists. Parliament exists to discuss matters of national interest and public interest. So the issue of lobbying, that one we can't say no. But I think the issue the president is saying is, he's saying there's exchange of money where members of Parliament demand money so that you are brought money to write a report. Mm-hmm. For the time I've been in Parliament, I've never seen that, unless with other people. But personally, I've never seen a situation where you are saying, bring money for us to change this report. For the committees I've sat in, because I don't sit in all the committees. But to me, what is critical is this. And I think really, the Transparency International the other day released a report.
Yes.
In terms of perception, index perception on corruption. And I don't think out of those institutions listed there, Parliament was listed. Mm-hmm. It wasn't at all. And Parliament interacts with the public every day. But what we are saying is, you know, let's look at the coin on the other side. Now, when the president says Parliament is demanding money, it should be demanding from the ministers who sit with him in the cabinet. It must be demanding from the governors, or possibly when they go to the Senate, because those are the people who come for matters oversight. So that's what I'm saying. It would have been easier for the president to say, this particular committee has been demanding this money,
yes,
or has been demanding money. But now when you generalize a whole institution, it's just like saying now the government is corrupt. And I think if we were to talk that general, then we would say the Kenya as a country is corrupt and everybody is corrupt. I don't think it would be fair to you even about from where you sit. If we say Kenya today is corrupt, even you'll feel offended because from where you sit, maybe you've never engaged in such a situation. So we are just saying, because our president is a consumer of national intelligence, can he narrow this matter down to the individuals? To individual committees. And we have very clear legal frameworks saying if you are corrupt and you are found to be corrupt, yes, we know what the law says about corrupt individuals. The other thing is, which is critical, since there is always a giver and a receiver matters corruption, the people giving are under him. Those are the ministers. So why can't this state tell those who are giving because they're under him that don't give? Because so long as the giver does not give, the receiver receives zero. In that case, we will have actually killed this debate. But you know, he's saying, my ministers, why are they giving if he knows them? So to me, I think really this debate, Kenyans, we have been applying very lame excuses to corruption. And I think as a country, if we want to deal with the corruption, let's get to the root cause of corruption. If Makali Mulu is corrupt, I'm known, they know my address, even where I live, can I be taken to court and be charged? I like the idea where we are saying, why don't we have a system where we fast track this corruption-related cases so that those who are involved can be jailed as soon as possible, those who have cases to answer, those who have no cases to answer can go home and continue working. In that case, then it will be helping the country. Otherwise, this talk, public talk, what I would call, to me I call this just, what is the best terminology, Jiba? It's just like talk shows. Like what we are doing. You talk with minimal action. I think we need Jiba to get to now, to narrow it to a serious debate. So what, in your own estimation, what would have been the wisest of fashion the president would have handled this? Instead of making a broad brush pronouncement on the parliamentary committees, you should have picked single committees which are embroiled in corruption? The best thing you would have done is what at one point Uhuru Kenyatta did in the House. When he came and said, Minister so and so you're stepping aside, so and so you're stepping aside. By the way, these chairs were appointed by him. Why didn't he go with Alice and say, Chair and budget, you are now from today step aside. Chair agriculture, my friend here, step aside. Because he knows them. Yes. Why is that saying Makali Mulu and everybody else in the House is corrupt? I don't chair in committee currently. And I might not even be privy to the issues. So if you wanted to help the country, out of your many chairs you have appointed, say so and so you're not behaving. Right. Pave way for somebody else. Okay, let me come to Honorable Shakil Shabira on this as well, because you are a member of the African Parliamentary Network Against Corruption. And having this grave allegations, you know, to the parliamentarians from the president, I think is also really blotting the copybook of the parliamentarians in the country. Do you hold with what the president is saying? And how serious are these allegations?
Firstly, I'm from Kisumu East, not West.
Kisumu East, sorry.
Secondly, there's a very old saying, those who live in glass houses should not throw stones. Do not throw stones if you yourself are in a glass house. And that is where I start. I know, I mean, let's look at it. It is known case that when the Senate is impeaching the governors, lots of money is passed. When Intercontinental Hotel was still working, there were certain senators who would go there and be met with governors and be given money. There is no, it's a fact. There are facts that, how did you impeach Rigiji? Who's going to admit? Are you going to admit? Are you going to admit? Yes? You think Rigiji was just, all of us were ready and we just voted him out? It isn't the case. You, executive, are the givers of the bribe. You want a certain reaction, and you come and buy the certain members of the parliament, and you know you'll buy them. There are cases, if the executive, the minister is doing something wrong, and the report shows that he's doing something wrong, he's going to come and try and bribe them for the report. That's the truth of the issue. Let's be very blunt about it. Dr. Mukali Muli says he's been there 13 years. I've been there 18 years. I can tell you personally, this is one of the worst parliaments I've ever been in. One of the worst. We have no integrity. We have no sense of priority. We have no loyalty. We change our minds at a whim. We are no better than the executive. Executive has the money, and they are the ones who are bribing. The governors have the money. They are the ones who are bribing. Gone are those days where the member of parliament was getting 10,000 shillings a month, and he was doing his job. We have 2 drug barons in parliament. 2 drug barons, not in parliament, in cabinet. 2 known drug barons who cannot go to the United Kingdom and the United States. Known for millions and billions of shillings. They're in the executive. We have a number of other questionable people in the executive whose accumulation of wealth has been astronomical. We have ministers who are now walking around with the 20 million shilling watches, and I know them before, in the 9th parliament and the 7th parliament, you know. So the situation is that, frankly,
so you hold with what the president is saying, that
no,
the
the president is part of the problem. The president, as head of the executive and head of government, is part of the problem. You cannot start crying wolf or fox when you know where it's coming from. If you really want to do this, sort it out properly. Do a Duterte. And I remember Duterte of Philippines. He was severe. I have been a member of parliament and a chairman of APNAC. I have sat as close as this to Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now Ruto. At one time when I sat close to Uhuru Kenyatta, and I would see tears in his eyes, and I thought, good boy, this one, he's going to be a good support. What happened? Nothing. The position here is that we are all corrupt, without doubt. In Kenya, if you do a poll, 70% of Kenyans or more will accept corruption as a way to raise money. But I would like to say one thing. I give you examples, clear examples. Conflict of interest bill. A good bill. We were working, trying to take Kenya out of the grey listing. What happens? Senate goes and
water it down.
Tore it up. Changed the whole meanings. Now, of course, they wanted to be talked to. They were not talked to. Then it went to the president. And let me tell you, we're not going to hide it. I had been writing to the presidential office for so long. This is what's happening. This is what will happen. Okay, so now he's vetoed that bill. So we say thank you. But now we're saying to the president, President, you call people to parliament, to State House. You show them all those motorcycles and whatever else. What are you showing? You call us and you tell us you are going to empowerment rallies. And we go to empowerment rallies. And you sit there and you're given money to go to empowerment rallies. And you're given money to donate on behalf of yourself. So you're given 100,000, 200,000, you go up and donate. So what is happening? And some of us are going. Many of us will go. You know, the matter of the issue is, corruption has become a norm in our country. And now President Ruto feels that this is too much and he's blamed the parliament. We, the parliament, are blaming the executive. We're also blaming the judiciary. But as Mukali Mulu said, I chair the African Parliamentarians Against Corruption, and we work with TI. The parliamentarians are number 6, number 8 or 10, somewhere there. The basic state of affairs is this. If you are going to buy 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 members of parliament, they are your slaves. I've sat in committees where the minister doesn't bother turning up. The PS doesn't bother turning up. He walks in like a lord because he knows that he's bought some of you guys.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, so let me, because we want to also take a short break briefly, and you've talked about the judiciary.
We were talking about the former governor of when she was a minister. How was it? Money was passed, much of it. I'm talking about Delarue when I was in the 10th Parliament.
Money was passed.
When I was in the 8th Parliament, they were taking us to the United Kingdom. When the banks now started calling us in the Finance Committee. Okay. And there are 3 people only raised in Parliament. Go back to the handset. Miliam Diambo, myself, and another. Said, look, we are not going to take that $100 or whatever we are given.
Thank you. I need to butt in a bit so that we can take a short break. But briefly, should anticipatory bail be abolished in Kenya? Because I think that has been used as a fig leaf most of the times to, just give, is being misused, as you can say. Should it be? If I may pose this question to you, Dr. Mutunga.
Anticipatory bail does secure one from arrest. It's like...
You will say it's in the Bill of Rights, it's your right. But is it being misused?
I tend to think it is misused because the way it has been applied in the recent past is basically to bar people who are already, let me say, suspected to have committed a crime, not to be arrested. And that gives somebody some leeway, some freedom when they shouldn't be. So they cannot be remanded. And in some cases, remand is necessary so that you can do investigation without interference. So it withdraws that particular provision, that investigations cannot be done with total freedom. So I think it has been misused in Kenya, and you've seen these cases. And it's not only in criminal cases, also in political or quasi-political cases, where you feel, somebody is likely to be, or rather is classified as being in a certain category of, political formation. And therefore, there is the intention to protect them from any form of arrest because probably through experience, there are possibilities that if they are arrested, then they'll stay for a while before they can be given a bail. So anticipatory bail is being misused in this country.
All right, it's being misused. We want to take a short break on that particular note. And just to remind you that we have also the QR code just at the bottom of your screen there. You can actually scan it, where we have our question of the day. And this is what it is asking. Do you think Parliament has performed well in oversighting the executive? Do you think the Parliament has performed well in oversighting the executive? Right. So for the poll, You can actually scan on the bottom of the screen for the feedback. We shall be relaying that much later in the course of the program. 10 o'clock on the nose. But before we take a short break,